Straight ahead on the Good Morning Show, Florida A&M University is put on probation in the wake of the hazing death of drum major Robert Champion.
Plus, Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi is making sure that synthetic drugs stay off the streets by expanding a current ban.
And Florida is taking a new approach to getting rid of pythons in the state. Find out how you can help and wait till you hear that story.
I know that upsets you greatly. That they're
yes, please help. Anyone willing to help. Get them out of here.
Before they get up to North Florida, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Gosh, yeah.
All right. Well, it is a Wednesday morning. I'm Shonda Knight here with Art Myers and Rob Nicotella.
Yeah.
On 12, 12, 12.
12, 12, 12.
Yeah. You're looking rather dapper, young man.
Thank you. Do the whole little James Bond thing.
Tell you what.
Have you seen the?
I have not seen the new one.
Oh, it's so good.
Really?
But I want to go to his tailor.
Yeah,
he's
a
Bond has always been that way.
That's what I'm saying. Anyway, all right, let's do it. Come on, we'll talk weather on what's likely to be a rainy Wednesday for us. We've got some activity on the radar picture. South Georgia, the showers are lifting a little bit further north. The I-75 corridor north of Valdosta, kind of wet right now. Head over towards Marianna on I-10, back down to Panama City. Oh, yeah, we've got some showers there, too, and more will slide their way north and east as we go through the day. Cool, damp, raw. Best three words to describe it. Jackets, umbrellas, boots, all needed today. And today is our shot for the shower, something we've been waiting for a while. Looks like the weather pattern itself is going to shift to a little bit more active. That's a good thing. I think we could use some more rain and a couple more chances. And I think this is not just a one-and-done kind of deal. Maybe a couple of days down the road, another shot for some showers comes back into the picture, something that we've sort of been lacking for a long time here. We've got all this energy, we've got all these clouds, we've got all this shower, still got to get pushed through the area. And it's going to take until tomorrow for that happens. So showers, a big part of the forecast for today, as will be those cooler temperatures. We'll detail everything in just a few minutes, guys.
All right, thank you, Rob. Well, Florida A&M University is now on probation.
The university was placed on probation yesterday by the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission on Colleges, also known as SACS.
Well, SACS said that FAMU will be on probation for a year and their accreditation is at risk. Eyewitness News reporter Dinesh Broom joins us live in studio. Dinesh, how have people around campus reacted to this?
Well, for obvious reasons, many students especially were shocked. A sophomore even mentioned he wasn't sure if he should consider transferring to another university. Now, it is important to note, though, that FAMU is still accredited at this point, but they're being watched. Now, SACS has the authority to give out accreditation to schools in 11 states, and interim FAMU President Larry Robinson says SACS first sent the school a letter on June 25th expressing concern over the hazing death of Robert Champion. They also mentioned concerns with academic policies, student rights, and control of finances and institutional environment. Well, Tuesday, they let FAMU know the school is on probation and can lose their accreditation if things don't change.
It's a big surprise. I didn't know anything about it, but I honestly believe the school's going to come through it, most definitely.
And FAMU has set up a toll-free hotline for anyone who has questions about what has happened, and that number is 1-877-326-6397, and we've also put that number on our website. Now, there will be a meeting this morning at 11 o'clock at Lee Hall Auditorium for students, faculty, and staff. Interim President Larry Robinson will talk to everyone about the news from SACS, so we'll try to have more about that coming up for you tonight on Eyewitness News. For now, live in the studio, Dinesh Broom, WCTV, Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks a lot, Dinesh, for that update.
Well, a pilot is killed when a small plane plunges into a local swamp.
It took rescue teams nearly 10 hours to find the wreckage. Eyewitness News reporter Greg Goldberg has the latest.
A deadly plane crash in Lake Park, Georgia.
You couldn't tell it was an airplane if you didn't know that's what it was.
A small four-seater crashed into a local swamp.
It's like a jungle.
The Lowndes coroner says the pilot never had a chance.
Nobody could have survived that.
The Diamond Star DA-40 took off from Valdosta Regional Airport Monday night. Within 10 minutes, the tower lost contact, and it wasn't found till late Tuesday morning. The plane crashed in the woods, just missing several homes.
It's pretty scary, with all the kids, and didn't know if maybe he was going to try to land in, what if he'd have landed in our yard, things like that. So it's a little scary for us.
Now, the plane actually crashed on private property, so the Sheriff's Department isn't letting any reporters back there to see it. It's about a half a mile down this drive.
Weeds and trees and low-laying brush everywhere.
The plane had just one occupant, pilot Rick Popple from Jessup, Georgia near Savannah. The coroner confirms he is dead. A hearse left the scene around 3:30. The coroner says the body will be taken to a Macon crime lab for testing as investigators look for any clues as to what might have caused Popple's plane to go down.
When our time's coming, you just don't really know. It's just sad.
In Lake Park, Georgia, Greg Goldberg, WCTV Eyewitness News.
The cause of the crash has not been determined at this time, but weather is not being ruled out.
Well, two BP rig supervisors have asked a federal judge to postpone their trial on manslaughter charges. They're accused in the April 2010 deaths of 11 workers. Their trial is set to begin on February the 5th. In a court filing on Tuesday, attorneys for BP well site leaders Robert Kaluza and also Donald Vidrine asked for more time to prepare. The defense lawyers say the Justice Department prosecutors are not opposed to a delay. U.S. District Judge Stanwood Duvall Jr. did not immediately rule on their request for a late 2013 trial date.
Florida's Attorney General filed an emergency rule Tuesday expanding the ban on synthetic drugs. Attorney General Pam Bondi, along with members of the Florida Department of Law Enforcement and the Health Department, announced that 22 new synthetic drugs were outlawed, commonly referred to as bath salts, K2, or spice. Members of law enforcement described the problems they've encountered when they've responded to people using the drugs.
Unless you've been there and covered a body with a sheet that just jumped off the 14th floor of a condominium because he just went into the junior store next door and bought some of this and ingested it, it's hard to understand why we fight and why we do what we do.
Synthetic drugs have been known to cause psychotic episodes. The new emergency rule will now make it a third-degree felony for an individual to sell, manufacture, deliver, or possess with an intent to distribute the drugs.
A Florida woman has been convicted of killing a lottery winner, and jurors reached the verdict in just a matter of a few hours. Dee Dee Moore was found guilty of first-degree murder of Abraham Shakespeare. Shakespeare was missing for months before his body was found in January 2010. He was found buried in the backyard of a Plant City home, which listed Moore's ex-boyfriend as the owner.
Wildlife officials in Florida recently announced the 2013 Python Challenge. The goal of the month-long contest, which starts January 12th, is to thin out the state's population of Burmese pythons. A grand prize of $1,500 goes to the person who kills the most pythons. Wouldn't do that unless you knew what you were doing if I were you. And $1,000 goes to the person who bags the longest one.
Well, a program designed to help young men steer clear of trouble is trying to drum up some much-needed funds. Well, Grapevine on Railroad Avenue in Tallahassee teamed up with 50 Large on Tuesday. The program works to give young men the skills and support they need to stay out of trouble and succeed. Proceeds from yesterday's sales go to the program. Leon County Schools, along with dozens of partner agencies, are heading up this effort. The young men receive academic help, mentoring, and many other resources.
The smell of cedar is filling the halls of the Florida Capitol. A Christmas tree is now up in the entranceway to the governor's office. The tree was donated by the Camacho family and presented by Agricultural Commissioner Adam Putnam. It's a red cedar grown in Florida. In addition to the Christmas tree, there is also a menorah in celebration of Hanukkah.
Which we are smack dab in the middle of.
We are right in the middle.
Smack dab in the middle of Hanukkah. And are you going to be suiting up and hunting the reptiles there?
No. Sean tonight, reptile hunter.
Yeah, you have to put a disclaimer on that. Like, you can win some money, but you might not want to touch that if you don't know what you're doing.
Some of those are pretty huge. So
yeah, they are.
Even if you're not paranoid already, right?
Exactly. All right, well, let's talk about this weather out there.
Let's do it.
The roadways are wet as lots of folks have
lots
started.
of stuff. As a matter of fact, we've got rain on radar, plenty to talk about, including cooler temperatures too. A whole lot of stuff. Stick around, the weather's next.